Hi, everyone. My name is Georgette. I am Georgette Truan, that is, and I work for the law office of Vincent Davis, and I am the co-host for Fight CPS with Miss G. Um, I have a couple of messages to share with you guys today, and it's very important that each one of you guys understand that you're not the only victims with CPS. There's so many hundreds and thousands of people that contact our office daily, and it increases all the time. The child kidnappers, they are non they're on a mission, okay? And they're so ignorant and stupid. And I think I've mentioned several times in my shows that the definition of stupid is actually seeing the truth, having evidence of the truth, but you still believe a lie. Okay. And that's why I say they're stupid. Okay. I read a couple of stories this morning that really every story touches my heart, but I actually cried after seeing these stories and reading about it. In Phoenix, Arizona, Anna Lorea's remains were found in an attic of her adoptive parents' home after firefighters say the adoptive parents set it on fire last year. Before that, little Anna, once known as Charisma Marquez, met with the social workers from Arizona Department of Child Safety in February of 2013. She had a broken blood vessel in her eye and bad bruising on her face. Her adoptive parents, Raphael and Maribel, took her to the hospital and told the social worker she got hurt at daycare. The child said the same thing because she was scared. So she confirmed their lies by telling the nurses and doctors the same story. A forensic nurse practitioner and the hospital staff said while the story didn't match her injuries, they didn't see the parents as concerned. Okay, they didn't see the adoptive parents, as concerned. Okay, fast forward a year, another DCS visit, this time with another foster child in the home who had two nickel-sized bruises on their backside. That child had the same injuries a few weeks earlier and was eventually placed in another home. In both cases, DCS couldn't prove the abuse came from the foster parents. Everything changed on January 20 of the year 2020, when the police got called to their home near 59th Avenue, okay, in came back home road. The kids were found alone with dog feces and urine all over the house. The kids shared horrifying stories, with one saying their foster mom smashed their heads against the wall, whipped them with a electric cord. Police removed the kids from the home. Raphael and Maribel Laura, I can't pronounce the name, are facing murder charges right now. Let's discuss that for a second, okay? They took the kids from their home, placed them in a foster home while their kids are being abused, but the foster parents were not found guilty because the social workers didn't think, right, that they're unsafe. But yet they take children from parents. When a child gets bruised on the leg, for example, from playing, and the school reports it, then they go to the parents, take the child from the parents, put the children in foster home. But yet those foster parents were not found guilty when there was massive bruising on the kids. Massive. Okay. So they buried the child in their back freaking yard and pronounced her missing. Okay. But yet you take the children from their comfort zone, from their own blood and flesh family. Okay. But they were not threat, as the workers said. They were not found as a threat, to the children. If social workers are watching my show right now, I'm telling you right now, there is higher power. That higher power is God. And the deceptive and malicious act that you guys take daily to remove kids from innocent parents, it will come and haunt you for the rest of your lives, because what you do is evil. And evil cannot live forever. There will come a day when each one of you will be held responsible, and you will be jailed for what you do. You guys think you're above the law now, but there's only one that is above all of us, and that is God. Another case that I read is actually on my Facebook page. One of our clients shared it with me. That was February 10th. Victoria Rose Smith was a little girl. On January 14, 2021, 3-year-old Victoria Rose Smith died at the hands of adoptive parents that DSS and CPS had placed her and her 2 brothers in the home. Victoria comes from the name of goddess of victory, a Latin name of winner or conqueror. Her parents laid her, this beautiful young baby, to rest as her mother stood and looked at her tiny casket. The cries of her mother and family echoed through people's minds. This person silently wrote, she prayed to God that given her a proper barrier would help bring peace to her broken-hearted family. I prayed for courage and understanding because, as the pastor who spoke said, we are not supposed to bury our children. She said, the mother, I placed my hand on the blanket she was given at birth by her grandmother and whispered, I promise we will get justice. Victoria was a goddess, a little precious angel. What social workers do, everything they do is money. They want the funding. It's very important to them. But they remove children, again, I'm going to repeat, from innocent homes, innocent families. And 90% of the time, those families are really innocent, and they're victims, and the kids become victims. When you move a child from a good home, a good mother, good father, because of false allegations, that's not even proven to be even accurate. Okay, I've heard stories of family members making allegations. Why? Because they had a disagreement with the mother, right? Their own family, on Thanksgiving, for example. So they say, okay, well, we're going to get you back. We're going to report you to Child Protective Services. Oftentimes, the reports are coming from false reporting. It's not even real. I found out a couple of days ago, a teacher called me, and she wanted to hire our office. She worked for LA City School, Public School District. The principal fired her because she did not follow his guidelines. And let me tell you what his guidelines was. There was a child that just recently went to the school, brand new child, never been in the school before. So the child is, 6 years old, and the child was kind of shy. He was trying to get comfortable, right? So the child, was not, he didn't have any friends yet. So the teacher was working with him to get him, comfortable. And she was a nice, being nice, being sweet to the child. So the principal said, you know what? You need to call Child Protective Services. He's being abused at home. So the teacher said, no, I met his family. He's not being abused. He's just a very shy child. So he told her, you have to do that. And he forced her. He said, if you don't do it, we're going to call we're going to fire you and call for Child Protective Services ourselves. She took the child to the school therapist. The school therapist said there's nothing wrong with the child. And the child, he's just, shy. So the school therapist wrote the report to the principal and told him her findings. Then he fired the school counselor or therapist. When they both got fired, the teacher and the school therapist called me. And they told me what happened. So apparently that the schools, when they make a report to Child Protective Services, they also get funding for their reports. And the funding money goes into a special account to give raises to teachers and principals. I know you guys might not know this. It took me a minute when I heard the whole thing. The therapist that I was talking to that worked for the school, she said she found that out when the principal told her why he wanted her to report, and she failed to follow directions. Okay. I knew something was up because a lot of teachers report DCFS. A lot of, it just too much is happening. The doctors, the nurses, it's crazy. It's crazy, right? So she was explaining the whole story to me, obviously. Then the principal reported to the school, to DCFS, took the child from his parents, right? And she was supposed to call me later on today to give me the parents' name and phone number so I can call them to help them as much as I can. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the corruption is from everywhere, from every direction there is. Okay, therapists, they say it's confidential information. If you tell your therapist, my husband and I had an argument, right? And, because of COVID or because, he lost his job, I lost my job due to COVID. And you say that to your therapist. Your therapist reports it to DCFS saying they had an argument over money and they have young children in the home. Then she entices the story a little bit more. And then they go and they take the children from their mom and dad and have the mom and dad do extensive classes. Extensive. Even if the parents don't do drugs, they make them do weekly drug testing. And every week the drug test becomes negative and they still make them do drug testing. They make them do classes for a year. Every time they're done, they make them do more classes and more classes and more classes, but yet they want them to keep a job. And if they can't keep a job, then they say you're unfit to take care of your children. See, what social workers do daily, okay, They know it's corruption. They know that they're maliciously doing this, but, or however, they come back and say, oh, I didn't know. Oh, I wasn't told. Oh, nobody told us. When thousands of reports are given to them from the parents raising their concerns over their own kids. And it just blows my mind. There's another case that we are handling. They put the two children into a small home where the kids are sleeping on the floor. On the floor. And they see that this home is better fit than their own home. Why? Because they received a report from a neighbor that the mother left the child outside in his diapers alone. How freaking sad is this? That anybody can call, make a freaking report. You're bad parents. You depleted, crapping, idiotic system. That's who you are. You're bankrupt from yourselves. You are so evil that I can't process that. I can't process how you can sleep at night. I can't. But then again, when you're evil, you're narcissistic, sociopathic, idiots, you feel nothing because you're literally bankrupt from yourselves. And then the parents go to court, and then, of course, the judges, the ones that wear the black robe, believe the social workers. They actually believe the social workers. They actually say social workers' report is accurate. Where is the evidence, Honor? Where's the evidence? Did you even look at the report? Did you pay attention to the reports? Did you actually see that there's a lot of discrepancies in their report? 95% of the time, the report is under somebody else's name. 95. This is why parents are fighting every single day. Here, Trish said that the women judges are like demons in court. Sadly, Trisha, I'm not gonna even argue with you on that. But there are some male judges who are just as bad. Okay? And you know what the sad part is? Women judges are actually, you're right, they're ignorant. They're very ignorant. But also male judges are just as bad. So it's men and women, they're equal. You people don't understand that judges have the control and the power, right? To make things right. But they don't, because they don't have the time to invest in actually reviewing the documents from DCFS. DCFS threatens parents. They put them to the point of insanity. They tell them, if you don't follow what I tell you to do, you're never going to get your kids back. But yet they go to the home and they say, hey, you are going to get your kids back if you sign the safety plan. Or you are going to get your children back if you do 3 months of classes and therapy. 3 months passes, no kids. Another order is placed. You have to do more classes, more therapy. They do another 3 months, 6 months passes. Then they come back and say, no, we don't believe you. We need you to do more classes. Now we're going on almost a year now. Almost a year now passing, right? Then they come back and those stupid people wearing black robes, right? They say, "Mm, we are not comfortable to give you your children back because the children now, they're comfortable in their foster parents' homes and they are comfortable in their schools. It's going to traumatize them to make the change back to the parents." Now, I'm not a judge, but damn, I have common sense. Common sense. You already traumatized the children when you remove them from their comfort zone to begin with. You already traumatized them. But the children are telling the social workers, "I want to go home to mom." But the judge says, "No, that's going to be traumatizing to them." That's how sad our system is. That's how sad our government is. And you know what's so sad? That they get sued all the time and the corruption goes on and on and on and on. That's why social workers do what they do. I will never forget the social worker. She was on tape. And one of my clients had me listen to the tape in court, in the hallway, when she told her, "You can't touch us." She literally told the parent, "You can't touch us." She told the parent that if you don't tell your aunt to leave the courthouse, I'm going to lie on the stand. That's what she told her. The parent said, "I will sue you." The social worker told her, that's at the Monterey Park Courthouse in Los Angeles County, by the way. The social worker told the mother at that instant, she can't touch them. Mhm. Then the mother told her court appointed or the court pretender what the social worker said. And you know what he said to her? Suck it up. Suck it up. So a lot of people don't understand. Every time someone calls me, they always say to me, "My case is different than everybody else. My case is different. My case is unique." And I tell them, I'm like, you know what? I love you guys for thinking that. But the truth is, that's not true. All of you guys have similar cases, very similar, because the deception is the same. The only thing that makes the case different is that the time of the case, when the case was open, how many kids are involved, what state you're in, what county the case is in, uh, how many hearings you've gone to, but it's all the same. The only thing that makes it different is that different name, different county, different family, and different duration of the case. So, but victimizing is all on the family. And families retaliate with social workers because families think, "Hey, this is my son, this is my daughter. What are you doing? You can't take my kids." They can't process that. A normal person cannot process that our state just goes to our home and just steal our children. They just steal our kids. And they have nothing valid, concrete, nothing. So they use us as toys. And the judges, I actually received a message just now, that's why I paused. And the judges, one of our clients said the judges rebuttal for everything. They use rebuttal for everything. Okay. Traumatizing the kids. So judges make excuses. When you want your kids back and you do everything the social worker tells you to do. If you do this, you're going to get your kids back. Why don't you have your kids back? So what they say means zero, means nothing. It means nothing. Social workers to me are useless. It is so hard to find an actual good judge that is an actually fair judge, because everybody only cares about themselves. And those judges that take children or allow injustice in our system, right? They can actually sleep at night, and they go to parties, and they have their little holiday gathering, you know, with their families, and they can sleep at night because they feel nobody else's pain. And they don't judge fairly. They're they are bankrupt from themselves. Just because you're a judge, judge fever or black robe fever, they have, right? They have black robe fever, I think. Because nothing they do is within your rights. But they set up rules to make it look like, they have rules set in place, guidelines to go around your rights and to violate your rights because of the rules. This crap happens every day. And yes, when I talk about it, it just makes me angry. Devona Fraser said, yes, it is hard to find a good judge, attorney, lawyer, therapist, counselor, children attorney, social worker, mentor, etc. And you're right, because everybody cares about themselves and everybody cares about their funding. Whether you're in LA County, San Bernardino County, San Diego, Arizona, Las Vegas, Kentucky, Mississippi, Florida, Ohio, Oregon, it doesn't matter what state or what county you're in, everyone gets the funding. They will go after children for any report made whatsoever. Whatsoever. I'll give you another example. If a father doesn't want to pay child support and the father wants to win, so the father has connection with the system, right? The judges know the father has connection with the system, right? His wife is a judge. His aunt works for the Department of Child Services. His mother's an attorney. He's this, whatever. But then you know what the judges do? The mother is innocent. She has no criminal record, drug record, nothing. But the judge sides with who? The one that has the title. Well, the mother is innocent, and the mother is stripped from being able to see her children on a day-to-day basis. Because the father wants to withdraw from his responsibility. So what does he do? Is he gets his connecting the connection he has with the system, right? And then he uses it against the mom and reports the mom is unfit. It's that easy. It's that easy. So the social workers are given immunity that is, I honestly believe their immunity is a lot more than a police officer. Because cops, now they wear body cameras. But actually me personally, I have nothing against police officers because we need them. But we don't need a system like that. We do not need an entity like DCFS that is so corrupt, So corrupt. It just blows my mind. Of all the stories I hear day to day, one of our clients called me this morning, and I listened to her and I wept with her. I literally cried with her. She lost her job because she couldn't keep up with the classes and keep a job. They make it so hard on a parent to work because she needs her job to make a living. We all do. We all need a job to make a living. So what they did, when she told them, look, I'm going to get fired if I continue to do this. Can you at least work with me? Work with me with my schedule, right? And I will I will continue the classes. No, it's not going to happen. So she lost her job. She lost her job today. And then she said the social worker told her, you better get a job now. Yeah. The social worker sent her a text message, told her she better go find a job. What company would hire somebody, right, brand new, and then she has to tell them, hey, I have demands to do classes. So you have to work with me. A brand new company, brand new employer. Who would do that? No one. But yet, they're the cause of her losing her job. She was in that job for 12 years. Now she can't hire an attorney. She has to stick with her court-appointed attorney, and truthfully, when you call a law office, people expect the attorneys that they call to do pro bono work for them. It doesn't work that way. The court already provides you with pro bono. But when you call a law firm, understand that an attorney has to get paid. Because if they do all the cases pro bono, they can't stand. They won't be able to continue the fight. A lot of people think that any attorney will take their case pro bono because it's a unique case. It doesn't work that way. And a big part of me wishes every day I was a billionaire, that I would literally hire attorneys for people. I am at a point in my career or my life period, where the malice act that they take is daily, every second of the day. Somebody's kids is being taken away from them. And I even started playing the lottery, you guys, just recently, more and more every week now. Because my mission is to make it to the point where I can help everyone financially. But it's so hard. Some of my friends laugh at me. 1 in a million might win. We don't know. We don't know. But I try. I try to hear you guys' story. I try to speak with you. I try to understand you. But just know this. You guys have rights. I know social workers always say you have to do what I say. Okay? Don't retaliate against them. Don't be aggressive with them. But you have to stand your ground. You have rights. By law, they cannot get an order from the court to force you to speak to them. They cannot. But they scare you like the depleted souls they are, and tell you, hey, if you don't do this, if you don't talk to us, we're going to take your kids. And that's how they operate. They use scare tactics and bullying to take your children. And that's how sad it is. But oftentimes they know a regular parent, cannot just go and hire an attorney, because dealing with cases like this, it costs money. So they want you to give up. They want you to lose your job so you can't afford an attorney. They want to put you at a point in your life where you lose who you are. And then they say she's crazy or he's crazy. Right? And if you react, right, they're going to say you need psychiatric help. Yeah. Oh, they love taking kids, by the way. They love taking kids around holidays. A few days before Christmas, right? Thanksgiving, the children's birthdays. They love it. They enjoy it. But then they go home to their own family and spend, the holidays with. Having a job like that, I can't handle a job like that. I'll be fired the following day. But those people that stay in jobs like this, they enjoy it. And all of a sudden, after 12 years, 10 years, they retire, whatever. Or they leave the job, then they say, oh, we're going to fight against the system because they are injustice. They do injustice acts. But where were you in the 10, 12 years? Where were you? In the 10, 12 years, you already stole kids from the system. I mean, from the parents. Where were you? Working for the system. And all of a sudden, you get revelation that they're scumbags? I don't believe that one bit. Because instantly, when you know that there's corruption going on, instantly, you either leave or report or get another job. But don't come back after 10, 12 years saying, oh, I used to be a social worker and that's what's going on. And I worked for them for years. That to me, I can't look at a social worker. I am not joking you, I cannot see a social worker and have eye-to-eye contact. It's like looking at Satan. Me, personally. Because they're very corrupt, inside out corrupt. And a lot of social workers say, oh, I wanted to make a difference. But then you get in a job, they tell you, if you don't do this, you're not going to keep your job. And guess what? She's not making a freaking change because she's under their spell. So don't tell me you're a social worker and you worked for the system for 10, 12 years, right? And that you see a revelation now. It ain't going to work. Not with me. It doesn't work with me. Because I have 100 and plus questions to ask you. 100 plus questions to ask you. Ladell Devon Roy said, my worker quit today after she testified last week against my wife receiving reunification. Are you sure she quit? Or was she transferred to a different department and they told you she quit? There's a lot you guys don't understand what goes on behind the scene. A lot. They tell a lot of parents, oh, your social worker quit or your social worker was fired. And then they give them another social worker. A couple of parents said Georgette, she actually went to another department in a different area. She didn't really quit. She's just out of sight, out of mind. Then they give you another social worker and so on and so on. Before you know it, you have like 17 different social workers. And each one has a different mindset about you. They judge who you are. They judge your appearance. And God forbid, if you have tattoos on you, oh, you must be a bad parent. They judge people. Women social workers, on the other hand, They might not like you because you have pretty eyes. They might not like you because you have a pretty smile and they look like shit. And then they judge you. Okay. So it's it goes on and on. Okay, so Liddell Devon responded to my question. He said the social worker said that she's leaving the department. Hmm. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I don't believe them. They lie so much. And they actually are convincing liars. They're actually, you believe them, but they lie. I have to see that on paper. I believe nothing that comes out of their mouth. I don't. Sorry. Those people lie very well under pressure. It's like they go to special training. I'm not kidding. They go to special training because they lie very well. Fraser said, oh, I understand. Believe me. They move them around, change their last names, etc. You're right on, Devona. You understand where I'm coming from. And she's so right. They change their last names. They move them around in departments. Then the social worker tells you she left the department or she's leaving the department, right? And it's not true. Not at all. So instead of using the last name, they use their middle name as their last name. I've seen it happen. Monica said, the one married to a sheriff in North Carolina just transferred to the business department. Sarah and Derek Palm. She's finally getting fired and facing felony. So, there you go. They moved to a different department. So, people don't understand that it's not true. If they told you the sky is blue, you should go outside and make sure the sky is blue. Even if you know the sky is blue, question them. Because they always set people up to fail. Set people up to fail. I have another true story to tell you. A client of ours, he told me yesterday that upstairs neighbor is a social worker. Upstairs neighbor is a social worker. Social workers came to his home last night, right? When he called me yesterday, he was contacted by a social worker. But they actually came to his house last night, late last night, around 10:30 at night. And they said that they received an anonymous report. Okay. What is their anonymous report? Domestic violence. His wife looked at each other's face and they said, what domestic violence? Nobody, we don't have domestic violence here. No police was ever called. So he said to me, the report came from the social worker upstairs. So when the social worker came to his house late that night and she left, he looked outside and in his camera and he saw the upstairs social worker meet the social worker that came to his house and embraced each other with hugs. And the reason that he reported the parents is because when I spoke to the husband, he said one night we were talking, we had a Zoom, what do you call it? They were on camera, like on video camera, talking to their parents. And they were shouting and they were like, talking about Thanksgiving and all that stuff. And they were laughing and asking who's going to make what and this and that. And then who's better cook, who's this, who's that. And that was the conversation. So the upstairs neighbor reported to his department that there was a domestic violence. Thank you. FaceTime. Thank you, Devona. So That right there, it hit me. They actually make the reports. They actually call the hotline and make false reports. But then she told this guy, the father, that, hey, we're coming back Friday to take the children from you, because he refused to sign the safety plan. So there you have it. There was no police report. They've never been in trouble with the law. They both have great jobs, you know. But hey, you're a bad parent. We're taking your children because of a report from another social worker. No wonder everybody wants, a lot of people, I shouldn't say everybody, no wonder a lot of people want government jobs. So you can have upper hand? So you can destroy other people? Or do you really want a government job to help people? I don't think it's to help people at all. I think it's for your gain, for your immunity, for your gain to do whatever you want and not be held accountable or responsible for your own depleted, crappy actions. You social workers and court pretenders and judges make me want to vomit. You really do make me want to vomit. Because you're not really on earth to help people at all. I will be shocked if one judge stands up and say, you lied to the social worker. You lied under oath. I'd be surprised if the social worker is fired. I'd be so surprised. But in reality, the social worker gets promoted. Why did the social worker get promoted? Because she covered her supervisor's ass. That's why the social worker got promoted. She didn't put her supervisor under the bus, right? So she got promoted. That's how it works. So if anybody says, I want to be a social worker, there has to be a motive behind your move. And that's how it works in America. That's what it is. So some people, like when I speak to people on the phone, some people, when I get passionate like this, they understand that what they're going through is so bad. And they tell me that the passion that I have inside when I speak to them, they actually want to cry. And they say, Georgette, when we call other law firms, right? No one gives us the time in the day. Why? They're busy. You either have compassion and is genuine, or you're fake about it. You can't do both. And what you guys are dealing with is happening to so many people. And nobody wants to listen to them. No one. Devona said, again, Fraser, yes, they will cover for each other. All go hand in hand, and one hand covers the other, whether it is housing, doctors, schools, therapists, etc. Again, you're right. You actually should be on the show with me, Devona. She's very right. No one is safe. The other day, I received a call. I received a message, an email to call this person. I found out when I called him yesterday, that he's a doctor. He's a pediatrician. So me talking to him, I said, Mr. So-and-so, is this a case, how many kids do you have? The normal questions I normally ask. He said, no, 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 this is not about me. I'm a pediatrician. I'm a doctor. I said, oh, okay, doctor. Um, how can I help you? Is this about your wife? How can I help you? He said, no, no, no. I got this number because I'm trying to call DCFS or report to DCFS. Okay. He wants to report to DCFS. He's a pediatrician. So what is he going to say? Oh, the mother had an appointment today and she didn't make it. So the mother is neglecting the child. So I was a little bit, I kind of like used my little bit of sweetness and I said, well, if I may ask, Dr. So-and-so, what's going on? What are you trying to report? He said the mother missed 2 doctor appointments. She missed 2 doctor appointments. That's why she's getting reported to DCFS. There's no abuse. There's no, neglect. She just missed 2 doctor appointments. Instead of calling the mom, hey, mom, are you all right? Is everything okay? Can we reschedule? No, of course not. Let's call DCFS. Why not? And that's how it goes. So doctors, nurses, therapists, teachers, principals, they pick and choose. Another true story. I know you guys hear me talk about this firefighter case. It's one of my favorite cases, actually, because it's intriguing to me how the system continues on with the corruption continually. The 2 daughters reported at the schools, the public school, that they're being abused. Cried to their teacher. The mother only gets to see her children 3 hours a week. So the social worker called the mom and said, well, we received the report, blah, 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 blah. Right? And the mom said, why are you calling me? Well, we just want you to know that the school reported it to us and we did not find anything because, his wife is a judge. He's a firefighter, right? His mother is an attorney. His aunt works for the Department of Child Services. That we just closed the case unfounded. Now, there's 2 children crying out for help, right? But yet, hey, it's unfounded. And it came from the children's mouth. The children even told their teacher, please don't tell our dad because we will be punished. But hey, what the mother's been saying all along, again, dismissed because of the title. But do judges, when the mother goes back to court and tries to get reunification with her children, do you think the judges hear that? Oh, no, we're not going to change the order, because, hey, his wife's status is this, his mother is this, blah, 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 blah. He lives in a 2-story house, whatever the hell his situation is. And he's a firefighter. And people think all firefighters are heroes. No, they're not. No, they're not. Not all. Just like not all police officers are bad. And not all are good. Often, firefighters, this particular person, told his wife at the time that he only became a firefighter to attract women. So, not all firefighters are heroes, people. So we need, I need you guys to educate yourselves on what your rights are. And I know Mr. Davis does this. He's been doing these shows for a long, long time because he wants people to know their rights. Stand your ground. Try your best. I'm not saying, I say try your best to get an attorney other than the court pretenders that they offer people. Those court pretenders work hand in hand with CPS all the time. And they're close connection. I encourage every and each one of you to talk to family and friends. Gather as much as you can. I'm not saying anything other to find an attorney in your county and state. Any attorney that is a juvenile dependency attorney. Mr. Davis even said it on his show several times. He encourages people to find a juvenile dependency attorneys in their state and county. Mr. Davis had a couple of attorneys on his shows who actually spoke up. Because it is not about which law firm you hire. It's about hiring an attorney to fight for your rights. If you have a juvenile case, do not go look for a family law attorney because those are not qualified to help you in your juvenile cases. I've learned all this from talking to Mr. Davis, working with Mr. Davis, watching Mr. Davis. Because you have rights. Don't allow them to cripple you to the point where you can't stand up and fight back. Don't give up on your children. Don't allow them to divide you from your families, and families do not allow them to divide you from each other, because they have a habit of going to family members and say, so and so said, so and so said, so and so reported. It's not true. Remember, and I tell you this in almost all my shows, united together, you're stronger. Separated, you are weaker. So when they go into attack, they want you guys separated from each other. Husband and wife separated. Mom and dad separated from daughter and son-in-law. They tell the mom, the grandma, don't talk to your daughter. If she calls you, you can't answer the phone, or we're going to come back and take your grandkids from you and put the grandkids in a foster home. Well, yeah. So what does the grandma do? Disconnects herself from her daughter. That's why it's very important to find a juvenile dependency attorney. And that's the end of the show. I want to wrap it up and say thank you again, you guys, for following me. I love each and every one of you, even the ones I haven't spoken with yet. And I just want you to know my heart and my prayers goes out to you. And actually, after every call that I get throughout the day, I have me and my friends, we get together and we pray for everyone. And I actually write names down. I want you guys to know that you're always in my heart. And I understand everything that you're going through. And I get it. But I want you guys to be stronger. I want you guys, instead of letting this cripple you, I want you to stand up and don't give up. God bless you all and have a good night.